Good morning, everybody. It is January 15th. It's Martin Luther King Day. I actually have the day off school, but I am here because I have a substitute tomorrow because I'm going to a funeral. So I was just making sure I had everything laid out. I'm pretty much ready to go, and I was just going to show you what I have. So for the morning time, I just have a slide. This is our mountain language. I usually have a different PowerPoint, but I'm just going to put it all on one so they can kind of see what they're doing for the day, and she can just leave it up. So those are the 8 questions that they're going to be answering. Later, they're going to be doing their spelling words in ABC order, working on conjunctions. They're going to be rereading a story and working on some critical thinking questions. If we have time, they'll read about Martin Luther King and answer questions. They'll do a dictionary hunt and a paragraph writing. So, and I took the timer away just because I didn't want to confuse the sub, but usually I have like how much time in the corner. Sorry, wrong corner, this corner. But I took that timer out because I didn't want to confuse the sub, but usually I give them like 20 minutes in the morning to work on just the morning work. So then I just have all of their different spelling group lists laid out. We use Bear spelling, so we have them based on their different sorts. And I have a ton of different groups, so that's why they're all laid out. And then they're going to do their spelling just in alphabetical order, A to Z and then Z to A. They're going to be working on some conjunctions, like finding what joins together, what shows contrast, using those words. If they have time, they'll work on this, which is reading Martin Luther King Jr. and then answering questions, writing on the back. Then if we have more time, just a dictionary scavenger hunt. What are the 2 definitions of this? Like find the word. What are the guide words? Where is an adverb on page 272? Just finding some different things because they were struggling with dictionary work. If we have extra time, they'll be writing a simple paragraph, planning and writing and color coding. Write a paragraph that explains why education is important. And then I left a list of spelling groups out here so that way kids could just look if they forget because some reason they forget. I left one with my sub plans, and so they'll just grab their list and then get started on their thing. I just did a whiteboard message, travel to Tuesday. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? I did mine, which I just said Fiji. My daughter did hers. She said London, and I just said grab a marker. I haven't filled out my agenda for today, so I guess I could, even though they don't really need it. And then I always leave just a little note if I can. And so I just said, good morning. I hope you had a great 3-day weekend. Don't forget I'm gone today at a funeral. Please show our guest teacher what an amazing class you can be. Looking forward to a fabulous report. Love, Mrs. B. So I just kind of like to leave them a little note to, I don't know, encourage them, something like that. So I'm getting some things together that I need to take home and go through and grade, putting that in a crate. So I'm pretty much done. All my copies are done and laid out. On my desk, I have my sub plans, the morning work key, just in case they want to go over it, and then my emergencies procedure folder. I haven't put out my actual plans in here because I like to just think about it and go over it in my head a little bit more. And so I have that like sent to my home email, and I'll look at it a little bit better. I'm wearing my coat because it's freezing in my room. So real quickly, I'm going to kind of show you what I did to my desk. They were in pods of 4. But I put them in rows last week. We were struggling with behavior and self-control, and so I just decided just to see what this was like, see if we could get them back focused and things like that. So it's working out pretty good. I don't like it because it takes up so much space, and they're still pretty close, but I don't want to spread it out even more because then we just wouldn't have as much room to walk around. So I'm hoping that I can put it back in groups of 4. Good morning. It is Wednesday, January 17th. I am finally back to school. Monday we had Martin Luther King Jr. Day off of school, and I came up to school and did some sub work, but we didn't actually have class. Yesterday I was out for a funeral, and so today I am back. I am in a fabulous mood, which usually does not happen when I come back from a sub. it went well. My room is clean. My things are still organized. So I'm pretty happy. Now, once I talk to my class, I might get more to the story because last year I had a sub tell me like everything went really well, and then the students all kind of confessed it was a really bad day. Actually, a couple people were sent to the office, but the sub left really good notes. So, but by the looks of my room, I'm thinking it went pretty well. And it seemed like she did a good job. I was a little nervous because I had her as a substitute in the beginning of the year. Didn't remember anything good or bad about her, but I do remember like the first time she came in, I was like her first person she had ever subbed for. But I obviously knew if I didn't remember anything bad, then it was probably, okay to let her come back. But my room is really clean. My desk, I showed you in the clip before how I put them in rows. They're like in nice rows. They're still split apart for the most part. I need to scoot back a little bit, but I mean, they look pretty good because every day they end up like crumble together. My floor is like basically spotless. My back table where I put all my work is nice and organized. A lot of times there's like just work all mixed around and I can't even tell like what was completed or what wasn't. So I'll show you in a minute that. So I'm just really excited. So here are my rows, and as you can tell, they're pretty much like still nice and in order, besides back there and towards the back it's kind of messy. My table over here, all the work is still like just laid out nice in nice stacks, which never happens. She left me a note just saying that all the groups were very good and no troubles. She enjoyed being their sub. And she left all my sub plans out. Doesn't look like she wrote any notes on those. What I thought was amazing is here, my kids do bear spelling. I'm covering up names. They do bear spellings, which is individualized spelling. And anybody that was absent, she got their spelling list from their group and wrote their name on it and paper clipped it all together. So that way today I can just give them their list. So it's just awesome because now I know who wasn't here. And a lot of times I never have like accurate attendance when I have a sub. So overall, my room is really clean. And there's a lot that did the whiteboard message, so I'll read those and just see where they want to travel. We usually talk about it a little bit. That way it's not just right on the whiteboard and that is it. So I'm pretty excited. Here is this box. There's actually 2 CD players, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. So my room, like I said, is pretty clean. The note was good. So I'm pretty excited. So the CD players. I sent out I've been having problems with the listening center all year long. I finally asked around my school. I had a couple teachers bring me one. I figured out which one would work the best for what I was needing. Got it working because I have a headphone splitter where a couple people can sit at the CD player and listen at a time. And then it quit working. The speakers, the headphones were still working, but then it was still coming out of the speakers, which wasn't very effective. And then half the time it wanted to play the CD, half the time it didn't. So I just was like, you know what, we're just not going to have a listening center. And I have written a grant for Don't Just Choose that hasn't been funded yet. But then I decided, you know what, maybe I have one laying around the house. I looked, I found one, but my daughter said she wasn't even sure if it worked. We couldn't find the cord for it, and I wasn't going to be going through batteries like crazy. So I asked around, like on Facebook, still never was able to find one. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to send out a message to my parents and just ask if anybody has like a small CD player that they have laying around. So I sent out an email just saying like, hey, sorry, strange request, but I've been having issues with the listening center. Does anyone happen to have like a small CD player that they're not using around the house? Because I know some people just have a couple of them for different things. And I kind of showed a picture of what I was looking for and told them that I needed to have a headphone jack. And I told them if someone had a big one that they weren't using, then I could consider using it. It was just going to depend on like that specific player and how much room it would take up and all of that. And I asked if they didn't have one, then if they could just like ask around, or if they happen to see one super cheap. Teacher budget, especially my area, we're like the lowest paying state, like out of everybody. So I was trying not to buy them, even though I know they're not like super expensive, but I spend a lot of money on my classroom already, and I have 4 kids of my own. So I have to watch what I spend on my classroom. Anyways, so I sent out that email, nothing for a couple days, and then I got an email from a parent saying that they would like to, that they had ordered me one, and they wanted to do it to show their appreciation for all that I have had to like deal with. And I emailed back like, oh my gosh, that was not necessary at all, but I appreciate it so much, you know, all of that. Then they emailed back yesterday while I was gone and just said, hey, he's coming today with the CD players. I actually ordered 2 of them. Let me know if they work or they're the correct thing or not. So he today, because I wasn't here yesterday, so he had an Amazon box on his desk, already opened with the 2 CD players that I showed you. So I'm really excited. I looked, they do have audio and headphone jacks. So here in a little bit, I just have to try it out and just see if it works. He said if it didn't work, let him know. He could return it and try to find what I needed. But I don't see why they wouldn't work, especially being brand new. I'm hoping that I have no issues. And having 2 is seriously going to be amazing. I do need more headphones because then I could have 2 listening centers going. I could have like more of an advanced listening center and then like not so advanced. But we'll see. Because right now for my listening center, I have them listen to the advanced level of level readers because they're just listening. You know, they don't have to read. I mean, they can follow along and they do answer some questions, but they're just listening. So I've always been told just to have it more of the higher level than like a lower level. But with having 2, I could split it up, and that may help for my super, super low kids. So I'm pretty excited to try those out. I mean, it's just a good start to my day. I was already dreading it this morning. I was like, I'm not even at work and I don't even want to be there. Just because I've had basically a 5-day weekend. So it was kind of hard to come back. But coming back to a good report, a clean room, new CD players, pretty happy. So today is Wednesday. We have our professional learning communities here in a few. I just had a few minutes to talk with you guys. I needed to check my email because we have to talk together about a team about something that a principal sent out. And so I checked that really quickly. Today, I'm not 100% set on what we are doing. I need to, that's what I was doing when I pulled up my computer. I need to check our computer lab schedule and just make sure. Typically, I'm signed, because we have a computer lab, I'm usually signed up for, I'm usually signed up for Tuesdays, but Tuesday I wasn't going to be here because we had a funeral to go to. And so I emailed and asked a couple people to switch with me, and so I'm pretty sure I got it switched where I can take all of my classes to the computer lab, which if that's the case would be great because our district uses Star 360 testing for a benchmark, and it's our winter benchmark until next Tuesday, I believe. So all of our kids need to take the reading and the math test and just see where they have progressed since the beginning of the year. We have 3 benchmarks a year that count. We have one at the start of the year, like a few weeks after school. We have one in the winter, right when we come back from Christmas break, and then we have one right towards the end of the year. And then we're allowed to progress monitor. Good morning, everybody. It is January 19th. It is Friday. I'm so excited. It was a short week for me. We were out Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On Tuesday, I was gone because I had a funeral to go to, so I had a substitute. So I've only was here Wednesday, Thursday, and then today, Friday. So a 3-day week, and it has felt like forever long. It's been like a super good week, but it's also been a super like annoying and frustrating week at the same time. That makes sense. So I did not film at all yesterday. I was running a little bit late in the morning. Not really, I say late because I get here like really early, but running a little bit late. My oldest, he's in high school, he's in the 10th grade. So he goes to school before everybody. He rides the bus. He went to sleep Wednesday night really early. Didn't even say goodnight, just like fell asleep. So I was like, oh my gosh, I bet he's coming down with something. Thursday, he didn't wake up to his alarm. He wakes up super early, and like works out and all, you know, everything. So I was just like, well, that's really weird that he didn't wake up early. He slept through his alarm. So I thought, you know what, I bet he's coming down with something. I'm just going to let him sleep, and call him in sick for school. He woke up a little bit later, and he said he felt fine. He wasn't sick. He wanted to go to school. So, well, he had already missed the bus. So that meant I had to take him. Well, our our town is really, really big, but we only have one high school. Unlike other towns, they have several different high schools. We just have one, and it's not the super closest to our area. It's probably at least 5 miles away, which isn't far, but kind of far. So I had to take him to school, which that was around the time I'm normally getting myself and my other 3 kids ready. So that kind of messed up my morning. So I was like running a little bit behind on when I get ready. And then I got to school and we had to have a meeting about the new way we are doing our inside recess. It's changed quite a bit. It's kind of annoying and frustrating at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, but I see the reasoning behind it and I see like the benefit, but it's just kind of frustrating. But inside recess days are never fun anyways. So thankfully yesterday was a nice day. Today, well, not nice, it was like 32, but today's supposed to be a nice day, so they should be able to go outside. So yesterday during the day okay, let me backtrack. A few weeks ago, I was talking with one of the people on my team and just how I was wanting to change my room. She said the same thing, and she said she was considering doing like similar things in her class. So she already had it done. She had some students help her one day. She showed me and I was like, I do like it. Okay, I think I'm convinced. I think I will go ahead and try it. I don't do good with change. I don't even like the furniture around in my room change. It's really hard for me. Like, I don't know why. It's just once I find something I like, it's just when it's moved, I'm just like, I don't know. So I was starting to move it yesterday. Some students finished. They asked if they could help. So they helped me move it around. And I told them immediately, I said, are you going to be mad if I ask you to help me move it right back? They said no. And so we just continued with it. And as soon as it was done, I was just like, oh my gosh, nope, don't like it, can't do it, nope. So they were like, don't let any of the other classes help you. We will help you. Just keep it till like tomorrow. Or they're like, keep it for like a couple weeks. And I was just like, nope, I can't do it. I don't even know if I'll be able to keep it today. And they're like, we'll help you. So I waited and I was like, okay, I'll just have them help me tomorrow. And it grew on me, a teeny tiny bit. Like maybe a rice size, like grew on me throughout the day. Because they're my first hour, so they're my second and third blocks. It was okay. Every kid liked it. There was only one student in my homeroom that he was like, nope, I'll help you move it back immediately. I don't like it. And so during their specials time, we have specials at the end of the day. They had a substitute in music, and I asked her if there was anything super important that they were going to be doing or if it was kind of like busy work, and she said it would be fine that they come and help me. So we came back to my class with the intentions of moving it all back, and you saw in the clip before that I had my desk kind of in rows, and they convinced me that if we just put it back in groups or did a different desk arrangement, then I would probably like it. So we kind of moved the desk around. I did something similar to this last year, but I haven't done it at all this year. And I still don't think I ever did it this way last year. I did it another way. Anyways, so we did that. And having the desk like this, for one, I like it. Makes the room feel more open. And the new arrangement that we tried yesterday isn't bothering me as bad. I'm going to try to leave it at least a week. I'm just going to see how I feel until like next Friday, maybe, if I can stand it that long, and see if it's grown on me at all. So here in a minute, I'll show you the way we did our desk, and I'll show you kind of what we did. If you've been watching my videos for a little bit, you probably have seen the areas that I've changed, and you'll understand the change. If you haven't been watching, you might not notice as much. So you might have to go back before, or if I can figure it out, I might be able to insert some pictures of what it looked like before. And so I'll show you that real quick, and then I have to make a few copies and get started with my day. So right now, our desks are kind of in rows, but they are in like groups. So we have a group of 8, a group of 10, and a group of 8. Way in the very back by the word wall, there are 2 desks. Those are just extra, like if we get a new student or if people want to work back there. And then at this very front area is one of our old desks that we used to have that I kept. And that's usually if someone's like misbehaving or having a hard time focusing, I'll put them up there for a little bit. The students that are sitting there now, they're actually really good students, and they are just choosing to work alone. So anyway, so group of 8, 10, and 8. And lots of room in between the desk so that helps. we put tape on the floor so we would know where the rows needed to line up, because throughout the day they kind of get squished together. And this is the area that I changed. This area right here used to be my small group table and then had all of my teaching supplies. This area over here used to be my class library. It still is my class library. Excuse my table, because we never got finished like organizing and moving things. It's still kind of a work in progress. So back here in the corner used to have all my library, all my baskets, and then like back behind where my table was would have had all like my bean bags and pillows and all of that. So we moved most of everything over. It's still not done. A lot of the baskets weren't fitting well, so we had to do a lot of moving the shelves. So we're still not sure what we're going to do, because I still have all of those books and all of these baskets that technically should be over here. But I think I'm going to go through the books over here, and if it's super popular books, I'll move it over here. If it's not, I'll move it back over here. Or I'll put more of my small group type of books over here. I'm not sure. But this way they still have pretty easy access. We put the table at a kind of diagonal. It kind of needs to turn a little bit more, so that way I'm facing towards the whole class. We tried it the other way, like where it's just straight, and no one liked it. So this way, and it allows me to get in. What I like about this area is it gives me a lot more room back here to kind of get in and out and grab supplies. So when the small group table was over here, I had it pushed like almost all the way against that shelf. So to get things off of the shelf, like if we wanted to play a game, if I needed to get to a workbook, I was like crawling on the floor, or I would have to push the desk out. This way, I think it's going to allow me to have some materials easier. It's just I still have some things to switch. Like some of this materials I still need over here. So you'll see. So like back here, this is where my library used to be. I now have like some of the games, paper. Some of this stuff just needs to be cleaned out and moved. I have a lot of the teacher resources, still plenty of room. Some more teacher resources, some binders. Some of these I don't even need. They were just already in my classroom. One of those kept them, decide if I need them or not. So I still have room. I still have things to move around. This is just where it was put right now. So if I'm at my small group table, I have like a view. You can see my kiddo over there. I have a view of like my entire classroom. So I do like that. And everyone likes this open area. I'm just not sure that I do. For vacuuming, it makes it harder. I think for the janitor, because I don't know what I'm going to do with all of our stuff. Because I have 4 more beanbags that are over there in that corner. Normally we would just stack everything up in the corner of our library area, and she would be able to vacuum. Now, I don't know. It's just going to determine. Yesterday I just put it all on my small group table for her to vacuum. So this is kind of the new area for now. I might keep it at least for a while, a nice little change, but I still need to move this area and get it, which is nice because over here are some of my leveled readers that I use. So having my small group table close to that's kind of helpful if I want to grab those. Also right here is a lot of my group set. So if I want to do like a novel study with one of my higher groups, then it's right there. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's just, I don't know if I'm in love yet, but we will see. You'll notice in one of my later vlogs if it's the same or not. So anyways, that's the changes that I've made. Hey everybody, it is still Friday. I went home on my lunch and now I'm headed back to school. I only have like 8 minutes until it's time to pick my kids up from recess. So thankfully, I only live like 3, maybe 5 minutes away. It took longer than I planned. So I planned on making a chicken tortilla soup today. I was going to start it in the morning, but this morning I just wasn't even feeling like it, and I wanted to get to school a little bit early. So I decided if I went home at lunch and got it started, it would finish in time. So I went home and got that going, and then remember that we still had some leftover hamburgers, so I cooked one of those up real quick for me, heated it, and stuffed my face, and now I'm back to school. Didn't have much time for anything else. The chicken tortilla soup, I have never had this recipe. I've made it before, but I do not remember what recipe exactly, but I asked a friend and she gave me one and it looked pretty good, so I'm gonna try it and, like, fingers crossed. It's actually, I think it was Trisha Yearwood's recipe. She's a country singer and has like a cookbook, and I think she had like a Food Network show or something like that. I don't know. So I'll tell you about it and show you like once I get home and tell you how it tastes and what it looks like. And so, like I said, I'm on my way back to school. I needed lunch break. I was wishing it was longer. It's been kind of a frustrating Friday. I have a student who has decided he no longer is going to be doing working class. And this isn't like just started today. It's been going on. It's progressively gotten worse. Last week was a really rough week. He's always kind of been one of those that I've had to like keep talking to and reminding him to do work and things like that, but he wouldn't normally do it. And I mean, he was a student who for a while was setting a good example. I mean, he was one of those where like, wow, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. But things have just went downhill. I'm not sure why. I've tried talking to him. I've talked with his parents. We've tried different consequences like lunch detention, and he had to take home a lot of work over last weekend. And so we thought this week would start out good. Not so much. Yesterday had a rough day. He did a little work in my class, but not in one of the other classes. And then today he just came in and he seemed kind of in a bad mood. And so I already figured it was going to be one of those days. So I talked with him out in the hall and asked like what was going on, what could I do for him, and asked if he had suggestions and why he's not working, and that when he's working he does such a good job, and just kind of complimented him. And I'm at school, so we just talked for a few minutes, and he mostly just shrugged his shoulders, didn't really answer or have any responses. And I let him know that, I mean, we've pretty much tried it all. The consequences aren't working, the rewards aren't working, so pretty much next was probably going to be the principal. So I told him I hoped that he would make the right choice. We started working. He refused to do anything. And not only was he refusing to do anything, he kind of started being a little bit disruptive. And so I found out the principal wasn't here because I couldn't send him there. Decided I'm just going to send him to another classroom, let him cool off. Maybe once he realizes, like, okay, she's serious, it's not okay just to sit here, he would come back and get to work. He refused to go. And so I ended up calling our lead teacher. She was out at a different school. And so then I called our behavior tech, and she had to come get him. He talked with like the school psychiatrist when he was in with the behavior tech, and just vented a little bit and told her what his behavior was. He got his work done, not all of it, but some of it, and then was able to come back to class. He apologized, said he just needed some time to cool off. So I'm hoping when I talk to my team teacher, because he's in my first hour, he's in another class the rest of the day, I'm going to ask how he did. So I'm back at school. It's only I think I have a few minutes till I have to pick up my kids from recess, so I'm going to go in and hopefully I can catch my team teacher, and I'll check back in with you guys. Bye. Hey everybody, it's Friday, it's after work, it is 4:54, and I am so happy to be off work today. Well, not off work, but off work now. It's the weekend. I needed this weekend more than I've needed a weekend in a really long time. It's just been a week. Like I said, it's been a good week, but it's been a very frustrating week, and it just never kind of let up. It was just like something every day, and I was just like, can stuff quit happening? So I just got done running my kids around. I do have 4 kids if you're new to my channel, so doing the after Friday, running people around. I am on my way back home, so I am driving and filming. I don't do this very often, but it works. I have a little phone holder thing, so hopefully it's decent quality. But I just figured I would check back in with you because I don't know if I'll have a chance later tonight. So I cooked the chicken tortilla soup. I'm hoping it's going well. It's just in my roaster at home, so I guess we'll find out when I get there because I haven't been home yet. And I was talking to you about a student that was having some issues with. Well, I talked with one of my team teachers. when I came back, and she said he's had a great day. He's done all his work. He's just had a great day. And so I was super happy. That was just like, it just put some weight off of my shoulders, and I felt better already just knowing that, because this is his second hour is typically where he has the most issues. He struggles with those two subjects, so I think that's one reason he refuses to do work a lot of times in her class. But he had a really good day. And then I checked back in with him with the third hour teacher on my team, and she said that he had a great day. They had a quiz, and she said, you know what, I'm just going to let you do the first half today, and then on Monday you could do the other half. And she said it was just one of those battles I wasn't willing to like fight with him today, and he completed the whole quiz. No problem, got all his work done. And so that just made me super happy. I've been emailing back and forth with his parents. I let her know what was going on, and that I had the behavior tech come and get him, and that it just was a rough couple days. So I made sure after third hour, when our students were in specials, I made sure to send mom a message and just said, hey, he actually had a great end of the day. He finished work in all of his classes. I think that worked well. Obviously, she's still frustrated. She wants to like kind of get to the bottom of it and, you know, stop the behavior, since it's a newer thing. But, you know, we were both like, we'll take any small victory we can get at this point, and we'll just hope for, you know, everything to be great on Monday. So we'll see how things go. Other than that, the day went really well. Today we had just a lot of tests. I feel bad for them because they had a quiz in math as well. We did our spelling test. My third hour, we never were able to do our spelling test because some of them were taking such a long time on their test. I don't know why. The other classes finished just fine, but this group was just struggling, I guess. It was only like 17 questions. And they were, like I said, they were struggling. So that's okay. They finished finally, but it took them pretty much the whole 90-minute block almost. I mean, not really, because we do our morning work, and then we had a couple discussions about some changes I was making for our classroom. But it pretty much took them the whole block. So all of my classes, we did our spelling test. We started third hour. We did our lesson test for reading comprehension and vocab, and it went pretty well. A couple of changes I'm making in our classroom is, normally for going to the restroom, we would have I have a really big Germex bottle for girls, really Germex, and that's kind of their pass. They just, when they need to go, they set it on their desk, and that kind of lets everyone know, hey, they're out, I know where they are. And then when they get back in, they put it up, someone else can use it. Well, it just kind of got to the point where a lot of people would be like, oh, it's an emergency, I need to go, you know, so-and-so was taking so long, and it had been a good enough period where someone had went to the restroom. So I started sending a few more at a time, and then I realized, this is a problem. Or they would come back in and like stuff would be happening when they were like supposedly in the bathroom, or like I would hear that they went to another class or something happened in the hall, and I'm like, wait, you were supposed to be in the restroom. So I decided, you know what? Nope, we're done with this. So I, on Teachers Pay Teachers, which I probably could have created it myself, but they had one on Teachers Pay Teachers, so why reinvent the wheel, correct? And it was just a login sheet, and it has like an area for Monday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. They circle what day they're out, and then it has a spot for what time they leave, what time they return, and their name. And the only thing I don't like about it, I think I'm going to have my kids do like a code next to it, like R for restroom or L for the library, that kind of thing. So I got strict. I told them we are no longer going to have more than one person out at a time, one boy, one girl. If it's an emergency, sorry for you, you're just going to have to kind of wait it out like the rest of us. And that if there's an errand that needs to be run and you want to run it, you're not taking a friend, because a lot of them are kind of doing that. Like, oh, can I take my friend to help me? They don't need help. And so we are working on that. Coming in from recess, they've been coming in kind of like squirrely all of the entire 5th grade. Like, I would have my class lined up, and I would look, and I would have other students from other classes like in my line and trying to group up and talk, and I would be the head of my line, and then somehow kids would beat me to class. So we just talked about how when we're lining up for recess, you're going to line up, you're going to stay where we meet you, you're not coming to me once you see me, you're waiting till I come to you, I'm waiting till you're lined up, I'm waiting till you're quiet, that's how we're coming in together. We're not stopping for the bathroom, we're not stopping for a drink, we're coming to class, then we'll start the sign out process for anyone who needs to go get a drink or go to the restroom. Because the past week, we would get in from recess and there would be half of my class gone. And I'm like, okay, where is our class? Some of them had stopped a drink. Some of them went to the bathroom. Some of them stopped by another class. Some of them were in the hall because they were talking about drama that happened at recess. And so it was just kind of getting out of hand. And I just decided I'm putting a stop to it. So we just had to talk about a few of those changes. The sign out sheet went pretty well. I had to remind them. My clock in my classroom is way off. And I fixed it a million times and it's still off. It might be on time and then the next day it might be 15 minutes slow and then the next day it's 3 hours off. And so I'm going to get I think an alarm clock that's just digital and set it probably, I think I'm going to set the sign out sheet on my desk. I don't know. I haven't decided. But somewhere where I can see them easily, going to it, signing, and then the clock will be there so they can sign it when they return. I like this way because it also tracks and we can look and say, Mrs. Bush, she was out 4 times. Most of the time it took her 8 minutes to go to the restroom. It shouldn't take that long and they shouldn't need to go that many times. I mean, I'm a teacher. I get to go basically 3 times a day when I get there in the morning, at lunch, and during my plan time. So it's a nice way to kind of track and see those reoccurring behaviors or if we're having problems or whatever. So that's just what we're trying. Just making a lot of changes. I have a few things I need to do to continue improvements in my classroom. What works for one group doesn't work, or 1 hour doesn't work for the next, or something that was working for a while just stops working, or so we're just gonna go back to practicing, try to finish the year off strong. I might go to my classroom here this evening and do a little bit of work when there's no students and none of my kids with me, but I'm not sure. So I just got home after running my errands. I'm gonna go ahead and get inside, check on this tortilla soup, and I will let you know how it is. If I don't vlog anymore, because I'm not sure if I'm going to, I'm going to try, but we'll see. Comment down below. Let me know what you do about behaviors with students who just are refusing to work. Do you kind of just let them not work, or what are your consequences? And maybe it's something I've tried, maybe it's something I haven't tried, so I'd love to hear what you're doing. And what do you do for bathrooms? What is your procedure, especially if you are a departmentalized grade level where they have more than 1 hour, because the way we're split this year, we have no time to take an all-class bathroom break at all. Last year we had 2 hours, so just 2 different block classes, and we had time after lunch to have an all-class bathroom break, and that really helped. But this year there's just not time at all, especially because we have 3 classes, and there's just no time for an all-class bathroom. So let me know what you do. Maybe you do something great that I can benefit from or learn from. Put a comment down below. Let me know. And give this video a thumbs up if you liked what you saw.